After way too long time, I'm finally back with a new video and a new version. I didn't get as much done as I wanted to, but I completed most wood types and their corresponding doors, trapdoors, blanks and so on. Before we get to that, I have some other great news though. The texture pack is now available on Modrinth. I actually submitted it a while ago, but I didn't really write a proper description, and now since I updated the description, they gave it the green light within a day, which is very nice. I will keep the project also available on Planet Minecraft, although I'll just put a link there of Modrinth so that I don't have to update everything twice and so on. Speaking of updates, the newest version should already be public, so if you want to try it out yourself, the link is in the description. So what did I change in this version? I decided to start with the trapdoors. I didn't want to start with the blanks or logs or anything like that, because they look basically all the same. All of the trapdoors have distinct textures. There was no need for me to try to adjust their brightness to fit the wood type or replace colors with specific shading types. Trapdoors don't even have random rotation, therefore I didn't have to use cross-hatching to allow looping. This allowed me to use straight lines for shading. I used straight lines in the direction the trapdoor would open for types such as spruce, jungle, acacia, because generally these textures already have this sort of flow with the empty spaces being longer than wide. For textures which don't have these clear opening directions or longer cutouts such as dark oak, mangrove, bamboo trapdoors, I used cross-hatching instead. I also drew warped and crimson trapdoor, although I'm not entirely sure whether I'll keep them in blue. I'm still thinking about making nether blocks, or at least fire blocks such as lava, fire, maybe even magma blocks with red ballpoint pens. I moved on with the doors, again sticking pretty much to the pixels and also shading from top to bottom. The process was pretty much straightforward, pretty much the same as with the trapdoors. I also did draw the warped and crimson door, which as well might not be final. I really like how the doors turned out, with all the colors gone, replaced with blue. I like how the textures seem more prominent. For example, Mangrove was just this weird red door for me. Okay, I'm not a builder, so I don't really know doors. But for example, I also never really liked the jungle door. Maybe because the color wasn't fitting with my build, maybe because the texture was too noisy or something. Anyway, seeing all these monochrome doors laid out like this, I think my favorite ones are the pale oak and the bamboo door. With doors and trapdoors done, I moved on to saplings and leaves. Drawing the leaves was a little bit more difficult because some of them have very similar textures. Therefore, I first drew all the pixelated outlines, after which I shaded all of them in one go. This way, it was a lot easier to get their relative brightness right. I thought of adding details to those textures, details how those leaves look in real life, but I kept it simple for now. Let me know in the comments what you think of that, and I can always add details later. After that, I finally had to move on to the logs. I procrastinated a lot before actually getting started on them, because they don't really have that distinct textures. I first drew the top sides and tried my best at keeping their relative brightness about right. The non-stripped versions also differentiate by their outline, which matches the bark of the tree. With the rough shading densities already in mind, I moved on to the planks. Drawing the planks was a lot easier than I thought. It was actually quite relaxing drawing the same texture 9 times, just with different shading densities. Making stripped logs side textures was actually pretty similar. It's not 9 of the same textures, but they still are pretty similar and mostly differentiated by brightness. For some reason, I really love the stripped mangrove log side texture though. Like, it's just basically rotated, but the shading is still the same rotation as the other side textures, so I don't know, I just really like it. Anyway, lastly I moved to the default log side textures. Initially I wanted to actually do something creative, but I ended up sticking pretty much to the default pixelated Minecraft textures. It would be really cool had I done some sort of fibers more similar to the trees in real life, but trees... Honestly, I wouldn't really know how to come up with different recognizable textures for those wood types. I mean, in real life, oak and spruce and whatever trees they are. Yeah, they do look different, but I wouldn't be able to put that into a simple texture. I could do it later though, I could practice and look at trees and I could get it done. But for now this is good enough, I think. I mean, I really like drawing trees, but they usually look very cartoony or not like any specific trees. They're just trees. I mean, trees are great, but trees. With all textures done and implemented, let's look at them in the game. I realized now that wood types are done, I did mostly everything for the woodland mansion. And I think it looks kinda cool. Also, I tried recording this with replay mode because my device isn't really that good with texture pack and recording and everything. And I think I had the bitrate relatively low in the export settings, but from what I looked at, it's the same bitrate YouTube uses. So I don't know, maybe I got something wrong. Also, replay mode is kinda weird with how the curves work. I mean, it makes sense how the camera path is generated because it tries to interpolate between all points and not just specific points. Like here, for example, we just went straight through the ground. But you can see the saplings down there, so I just kept it in the final video. Also, here's a pale oak forest. I think it looks kinda good. Here you can also see again some of the other blocks. The ground here is mostly stripped pale oak log. I think that looks pretty cool, and also all those already made textures together. I can't stop looking at it, like, especially here in this scenario where basically everything is already made. Well, the entities aren't made yet, but I feel like the more textures are done, the more immersive it is and the better it looks. Like when there's just one or two textures surrounded by the default textures, it looks really weird. But the more this gets done, the more I feel like when the project is done, it could actually be really cool. I'm getting more confidence that this project will turn out great. Here you can see the rest of the log things I implemented. I think they look decent. They're pretty much just Minecraft textures translated, but I think they look nice. Also, I put a lot of effort into checking that they line up properly, that they repeat really well. And I think especially for the stripped, but also for the not stripped versions, you can't really see where one block starts and the other block ends. So I think that turned out pretty well. And of course I almost forgot the saplings. We have the oak sapling with the oak tree. We have the spruce sapling with the spruce tree. The birch sapling with the birch tree. The jungle saplings. Then we also have the acacia sapling. As well as the dark oak sapling. Then I also drew the cherry sapling. And I totally didn't forget you had to place pale oak saplings in a 2x2 grid. There we also have the pale oak. And we also have mangrove, although I didn't do the roots yet, so there's quite something missing. But yeah, that's all the trees I did for now. I mean, there are still the nether trees missing, and bamboo is technically missing, and the azalea trees are missing as well. And I guess with that, we're at the end of this video. If you have any suggestions or questions or feedback, just let me know about it in the comments. If you wanted to try this texture pack out yourself, it is downloadable now on Modrinth. The link is in the description.